Am I the a-hole for revealing my friend's infidelity at her bridal shower to protect her husband? My name is Claire, I'm 29, and I've known Jessica Jess for over 15 years. We grew up in a small town just outside Charleston, South Carolina, and for the longest time, I thought we were as close as two people could be. We shared everything, our hopes, our fears, our gossip. In high school, we were inseparable. If one of us was in trouble, the other was always there to back them up. So, when Jess met Michael, I was really excited for her. Michael is, well, he's the kind of guy who makes you believe in fairy tales. He's tall, charming, and super thoughtful. He's got that southern gentleman vibe that makes you want to believe in love at first sight. He's well liked by everyone, and you couldn't ask for a better guy. Jess and Michael had been together for about 2 years when they got engaged. Everything was moving quickly, but Jess was over the moon. I could see how happy she was whenever she talked about him. I'll be honest, part of me was a little skeptical. Not about Michael, he was genuinely a great guy, but more about Jess. Over the last couple of months leading up to the engagement, I started noticing that Jess was off. It wasn't like her. She was distracted, less involved in our group of friends, and sometimes I'd catch her giving me weird, cryptic answers about things that seemed fine on the surface. I didn't want to be paranoid, but there was definitely something going on. The weirdest part, though, was when I noticed how she started acting around Michael. She'd get defensive if anyone mentioned his name in a way she didn't like. If someone joked around about his quirks, she'd get upset. If someone said something about him that wasn't perfect, she'd be like a bulldog protecting him. It was like she was trying to cover something up, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Anyway, the bridal shower was coming up, and it was supposed to be this huge celebration. It was being held at a beautiful venue in downtown Charleston, a place that made Jess feel like the center of the universe. We had a group of about 15 of her closest friends and family, and of course, it was all Pinterest perfect. The decorations, the food, the games, it was all going according to plan. But there was something in the air that didn't feel right to me. Something was off, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was about to find out exactly what it was. Okay, now I know this sounds insane, but just hear me out. So, we were about halfway through the bridal shower. Jess was sitting at the head of the table, beaming with joy, while everyone was complimenting her on her upcoming wedding and talking about how great Michael was. She looked every bit the radiant bride-to-be. But I could see it in her eyes, something wasn't right. I had arrived at the shower a little early to help with some last-minute prep, and while I was setting up, I noticed something strange. Jess's phone was on the table, face up, and there was a text from a name I didn't recognize. My curiosity got the better of me. I mean, it's her phone, and I had no reason to think she was hiding anything. I glanced down at the message, and I immediately regretted it. It was a text from a guy named Tyler, and it said, "Can't wait to see you tonight, babe. I've missed you. I know you're about to get married, but I'll always be here for you." My heart dropped into my stomach. I stood there for a moment, staring at the phone, wondering if I was just reading into things. But the longer I looked at it, the more the reality of the situation hit me. Jess, my best friend, was cheating on her fiancé. And not just with anyone, but with someone who knew she was engaged and still chose to send her that kind of message. I don't know what came over me, but I couldn't just stand there and let this happen. Michael deserved to know. He deserved the truth, and I wasn't going to let her get away with this. I went over to Jess to confront her, my hands shaking, my mind racing. I didn't know what I was going to say, but I knew I had to say something. "Jess," I said, my voice quieter than I intended. "We need to talk." She looked at me, startled. "What's going on, Claire? Everything okay?" "I just saw the text," I said, my voice tight with emotion. "From Tyler." Jess's face immediately drained of color. She stood up quickly, knocking over her chair.
"Claire, I don't know what you're talking about."
"Don't lie to me, Jess," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I just saw the text. You can't keep doing this. Michael deserves the truth." Her face twisted with anger, but there was something else in her eyes, a look of shame. She looked around, like she was trying to figure out what to do, but then she finally spoke. "You don't understand. I don't know how to get out of this. I don't want to hurt Michael, but I can't stop what's been going on." I was speechless for a moment. You're cheating on him, Jess. You're ruining everything. He loves you. He's planning to spend the rest of his life with you." "I don't know how it happened," she said, her voice cracking. "It's not like I don't love him. But Tyler makes me feel alive. I don't know what to do." I could feel my blood boiling, but I tried to keep my cool. "You need to tell him, Jess. You can't keep doing this. You're about to marry him. Do you really want to walk down the aisle knowing that you're lying to him?" She was silent for a moment, her face pale. I could see that she was struggling with herself, but at that moment, I knew what I had to do. The bridal shower was already in full swing, with the guests chatting and laughing in the background. I turned and walked straight to the front of the room, where Michael was talking to one of the other guests. He looked up when I approached, his face lighting up with that warm smile of his. I felt my heart break a little, but I couldn't turn back now. Michael, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. There's something you need to know. Jess's voice cracked behind me. No, Claire. Don't. But I didn't let her stop me. I couldn't. Jess is cheating on you, Michael. I just saw the text messages. The room went completely silent. Michael's face went from confused to shocked to heartbroken in the span of a few seconds. He didn't say anything at first, just stood there with his mouth open, trying to process what I had just said. Claire, you have to be wrong, he said, his voice trembling. You have to be. I wish I was wrong, Michael, I said, my voice softening, but I'm not. She's been seeing someone else. The rest of the room watched in stunned silence as Jess started crying, her hands trembling. She tried to run to Michael, but he stepped back, his face filled with disbelief and pain. I don't know what to say right now, Jess, he said quietly. I never thought this would happen. I loved you. I'm sorry, Michael, she sobbed. I never meant for it to go this far. I don't know what I was doing. So, here's where it gets complicated. Michael left the bridal shower in a daze, and Jess didn't follow him. The rest of the event was a complete disaster. Guests awkwardly tried to make small talk, and Jess just sat there, completely broken. I had never seen her like that before. She didn't talk to me for days after that. I reached out to her multiple times, but she was too angry and hurt to even respond. I don't blame her. She felt betrayed, and I get that. But at the same time, I felt like I did the right thing. Michael deserved to know. I couldn't just let her continue lying to him, not when he trusted her completely. Here's where I'm stuck. Was I wrong for revealing her infidelity at the bridal shower? I know it wasn't the best place, but I didn't know how else to handle it. I didn't want her to get married and then destroy this man's life. But now, I'm left wondering if I made everything worse. Should I have given Jess more time to come clean herself? Or did I do the right thing by telling him the truth? So, am I the a-hole for revealing my best friend's infidelity at her bridal shower?